You have been a decorated officer for almost 30, 35, 40 years.
Well, as a start point, I must tell you that one of the goals I had when I was in the army was that I'm never going to retire. Any army story is bound to fascinate.
Absolutely.
The day the crisis happens, your mind automatically takes care of bulk of the stuff.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Yogesh Pawar, and I'm the founder of School of Inspirational Leadership. Today, I'm excited and thrilled to introduce and welcome a fantastic human being, amazing personality in the SIL's family. Maj Gen Neeraj Bali, a decorated officer, today joins our family to transform leadership, a corporate training vertical that is now making sure that we are able to dwell and take care of the corporate world in terms of its leadership. General Bali, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. It's definitely a pleasure. But the questions that I have, and I constantly, you know that I'm a curious guy with a lot of questions. So don't mind if I ask you a lot of questions.
Sure.
You have been a decorated officer for almost 30, 35, 40 years. What pushed you to get into this corporate life, and then the piece of culture and leadership and transformation? What was that happened?
Well, as a start point, I must tell you that one of the goals I had when I was in the army was that I'm never going to retire.
Right?
I kept that goal to date. Okay? But the reason why I do what I do is not so much for any exterior benefits to myself.
Mm-hmm.
It gives purpose to my life.
Okay.
Once you are sharing what you know, the experience that you gained, the blessing that you had because you were part of a great organization called
Absolutely.
the Indian Army, and then subsequently CEO of two different companies in the corporate sector, I did feel and I do feel that I have a lot to give and to share. And all of this, frankly, I don't know how much benefit it does to others. It does me a great deal of benefit because it gives purpose to my life.
So that's the adrenaline rush that actually gets you up every day, and because there's your purpose into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Many times I get up at night and, you probably find it funny, but let's say it's 3 o'clock and I look at my clock watch and say, thank God there's only 3 hours left.
Okay. But in your book, The Winning Culture, I see you've given so many stories about an army and how it can be attached and looked at. Your learnings and teachings also are the stories that Indian Army are teaching us to adopt in the corporate life. During your sessions with people, what do you find fascinating when you actually teach them? You know, how are people looking at these stories and these experiences? Do they implement it, or they just get fascinated about it? What do you see?
Right. So you see, any army story is bound to fascinate.
Absolutely.
And any army story is bound to thrill. And while that has its own benefits, that's not how we are looking at training. Whether in my life or as an SIL, the idea is not only to fascinate but to inspire in specific ways. Now, what it means is to provide frameworks, to provide tools, to give them clues and hints and suggestions, which one of the best organizations in the country, the Army, intrinsically understands, but which can be passed on by making a little bridge between the Army and the corporate sector. So the idea is not to say unrelated stuff or things which sound good but cannot be implemented.
Yes.
But the goal here is to pass on lessons that any manager or leader can say, well, this makes sense. I'm going to use it from tomorrow. I'm going to use it from today. Right? That's the fascinating part for me.
Okay. Your experience of now the corporate journey and the Indian Army. Why is Army so different? And what is that secret recipe that the book also talks about? What is that secret recipe that you have seen?
Well, this question is thrown at us many times as to why you guys are so different. The fact of the matter is we come from the same mitti as everybody else. We have the same demographic background, the same financial anxieties, the same small town, village backgrounds.
Then what's different? That's the question.
The magic happens after you join the army, and that magic is called culture. Now, every organization, every political party, every company, every club, every family has a culture. And culture is what we collectively do. Now, Army has such a unique and a robust culture that that sort of carries you in a certain direction, so that ordinary people like me, can also end up doing some extraordinary stuff. That culture is what is the defining difference. And how does the culture impact? It changes your mindset. That is the goal here.
Okay.
To look at people's culture and to look at people's mindset.
In order for them to stick onto the mindset that is right, which probably is the culture that they want to resonate, the frameworks and tools play important role. Is that right?
Absolutely. So if you're blessed enough to be in a company or organization which has a great culture, then that's going to be a great help, obviously. But it doesn't mean that you're going to wait for that forever. As an individual, you should focus on your mindset. You should look at your habits. You should look at what we call for the corporate sector the processes. Let me on a different note tell you this how this works. The army leads a very orderly life. Everything for us is neat, clean, well painted, straight lines. The writing work is perfect. How is it then that our minds are trained to deal with the uncertainty of war? The answer is, when as a human being you have fantastic habits and values, and as a company you have fantastic processes and values, the day the crisis happens, your mind automatically takes care of bulk of the stuff because you're used to it. The rest of the RAM is then available to solve the
bigger problem at hand,
the growing situation. Absolutely. That's the benefit of having a great mindset based on these tools, frameworks, great habits, great processes.
According to you, we see supervisors, managers, leaders. We have these fancy designations. Is it that these designations are important, or the way I could be anywhere in the pyramid in an organization, but the way I work towards and the way I look at my life and my work, is that the key, or these designations are the key? What's
the designations don't really matter. The designations are created by human beings artificially, and I suppose organizations have to run, so you need designations and you need job descriptions. The only thing that matters for you, for anybody, is what is your role, and that role is signified by the contribution you are making to whatever you do. Okay, so the man in the army who's supervising the cooking of food, when he ensures that the food is great, which raises the morale of the troops who go and then kill terrorists, is actually his role is to kill terrorists, to assist in killing of the terrorists. Well, let me extend that. His role is actually part of national interest.
Absolutely.
So therefore, it depends on how you look at your role as a parent, as a spouse, as a man working in a company. And it is the exact contribution of your role which will determine the outcome.
And how fast, personally and individually, you move up as well.
Exactly. And also as a leader, it is then your bounden duty to make sure that your people are so appreciated for their actual role, not for their job descriptions, for their actual contributions. When a man working below you understands that he's actually contributing to the top line or the bottom line, or the receptionist sitting on the front desk is actually a brand builder, that situation changes.
So if I'm picking up two words, I see contribution and I see recognition and rewards. These are the two words that you spoke very specifically.
Absolutely.
And is there anything else that leaders who are running organizations, and probably big organizations also, is there any other element from a cultural standpoint that you feel? Because people talk about strategy. I mean, personally, you know me, I've been building strategies as well, right? So, but I'm a great fan of culture, and I understand the importance of it. Apart from these two things, like rewards, recognitions, and contribution, what is one more important in the entire process of building culture?
Right. So before I answer the question, you talked about strategy. Peter Drucker famously said that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And in my book, I argued that strategy and culture should have breakfast together. But what is that one thing that leaders must do? You can throw the entire book of leadership out of the window, but there's one thing you must cling to and embrace as if your life depends on it. It is, you can only lead by example.
Fantastic.
Nothing else matters. True. Words are cheap.
Absolutely.
They're easy. They can be thrown away. They can be thrown into the environment at any point of time, and nobody bothers. Even your own children begin to follow your actions at a certain age, and they stop listening to your words. And if this is true for your flesh and blood, you don't have a chance in hell to do anything differently in an organization. So therefore, it is your personal example. And let me just break it down into 3-4 sentences of what personal example in corporate sector is. First of all, you've got to be more competent, more hardworking, more risk-taking than the people you command. And I'm using the word command, not you serve with. 2, you got to make people safe. You got to genuinely take care of them. They have to feel protected. Their careers, their growth, their families, their well-being, right? All has to be protected. That is what it means to lead by example. To develop a relational equation with the people you lead, so that you do things from an emotional level and not merely because they're written on a piece of paper.
Or probably the economic standpoint.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because I think a lot of leaders get fixated with so much economic value because they're doing it day in, day out. Do you find leaders skipping this part? They want to, but they don't do. I mean,
they skip this part. They skip this part because somehow I can understand our obsession with numbers. Business is supposed to make profits. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is what the goal is. But there is not adequate understanding that your culture and your leadership is actually feeding into your top line, your profitability, and your bottom line. Is simply not understood. Your leadership is weak. There is attrition in the company. You're training people, you are bringing them up, and then they're leaving. It's a business cost. Right? So like that. So the reason why people are not paying adequate attention to these aspects is because they think these are fuzzy concepts, these are fuzzy ideas. They look good, they sound good, but actually they are not moving the needle on the numbers.
So Gyan, it looks like a Gyan.
Yeah, but nothing could be more wrong. This moves the needle of your company's fortunes, and you must pay attention to that.
Fantastic. I think we at SAL internally, we will learn a lot from you anyways. But what is your message to people who want to do it but are not able to? What is your message to those leaders if they intend to build a culture in the organization, their departments, probably the small teams that they're probably working with? What is your message to them? What actions could they take after this conversation?
Yeah. First of all, there must be absolute clarity that culture flows from top. So if you're a leader, my congratulations, you are responsible. You're in the driving seat.
And you're accountable.
So don't moan and don't criticize and don't say, "Hamare culture theek nahi hai."
Hamare log nahi karte.
You're the guy. You've got to fix it. 2, you have to have a clearest possible vision of which part of the culture you want to change. Right? So you can do that by simply understanding your people or going out to them and talking to them and having a feedback and understanding. 3, whatever you wish to change, you have to build the same thing in your SOPs, procedures, norms, traditions, symbolism, gestures, and everything else.
And governance as well. So data governance system has to be built around.
Exactly. It can't be in contradiction. Absolutely. You want your people to come in time and be punctual, and you're neither punishing people who are coming late, nor are you rewarding people who are always coming in time. There's going to be no culture. I'm just giving you a trivial example. So it has to be built in all that. Human beings work with rewards and punishments. That culture must be reflected in the rewards and punishments. You lack coordination and cooperation in your company. The department that coordinates the most, please get the HOD and the team up on the stage on the Founders Day, along with their families, and reward them. Let's see how this is not fixed. Next, your personal example. Extremely important. It must not be in contradiction with the culture you're trying to build. Finally, persist. Culture is an obdurate animal. You cannot wrestle it to ground in one stroke. Absolutely. It's going to take time. It's going to take months, probably years. But the rewards are infinitely greater than the effort you put in.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. It has always been a pleasure interacting with
you. Thank you.
And welcome to the family back again.
Thank you very much.
Let's do something good together.
Let's do some great things together.
Fantastic. Thank you. So we have just introduced, and you saw Maj Gen Neeraj Bali with me. Our goal in corporate trainings is to get on assignments, work on some meaningful jobs of culture transformation, leadership interventions, building right manager development programs for the companies and leadership development programs that can create impact. If you have anything of that sort and you feel that we can contribute to your organization, please don't hesitate to get back to us. Thank you very much.